PDC, PlanRVA, Crater PDC update. Ms. Heeter.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the
Good evening.
board, Dr. Casey. My colleague and I, Alec Brebner from the Crater PDC, kind of coordinated our comments today. So I'm going to give a little intro, and then I think we're going to kind of go back and forth and share some updates about some things happening in our respective organizations. So part of that is to be able to convey to you, because I know that you hear on many of you are intimately involved in our two organizations, and so I know that you hear a lot about what's happening at the regional tables, but we thought we'd try to focus a little bit today on some things specific to Chesterfield County. So I just wanted to say before I turn it over to Alec that, we certainly respect the boundaries that our organizations serve as it relates to Chesterfield County, but I think it's safe to say that both of us feel like we serve the whole of the county. And we work pretty hard to coordinate to make sure not just Alec and I, but our staff members are talking to each other on a regular basis. So Alec, do you want to kick off the first part?
Thanks so much. I appreciate the opportunity to come speak to you all before today. And let's say first that I'm Alec Brebner from CPDC, not to be confused with CCPD that you just heard from. Y'all don't get enough credit for the onslaught of alphabet soup that you experience on the dais on a regular basis. But the Crater Planning District Commission is a small shop in Petersburg smaller than PlanRVA, but similar in that we provide regional services throughout an 11-county region from Chesterfield County all the way south to the North Carolina state line. And I would start first just by giving you a couple updates on things that we're working on and a couple important notes that I would share. The Crater PDC houses something called the Procurement Assistance Center. And like most small government shops, communication is always a work in progress. A Procurement Assistance Center is a government-funded installation, Department of Defense funding actually, that provides consulting services and support to businesses that would seek to compete for public sector contracts, state, federal, local. And so we have two staff persons. One, Joanne Tompkins, is retiring at the end of the month, so if you know Joanne, please wish her well. She's put in 16 very earnest years for the PDC and has been a wonderful employee. She's being replaced by Lynn Mann, who's moving up from the procurement specialist position, and Margaret Edmond is joining the team just this week. And so we're pleased to continue continuity of operations in that department. The PTAC supports 4,000 jobs annually, which is jobs created and jobs retained. And 60% of our clientele is in Chesterfield County. So we are, by the federal formula, helping to provide and support 2,000 jobs in your community. Our staff will next be at BizWorks on Bellwood Court, up off of 301, and on April 21st. We make regular visits to that installation, that facility, to provide counseling services on site to residents and merchants that live here in Chesterfield County. The next topic that we wanted to touch on is transportation, and Martha and I both have pretty in-depth transportation operations, which most of you, if not all of you, are quite familiar with. I would just start with the little diagram or rendering that I distributed a minute ago. Crater PDC is a small shop that's pleased to play a small role in helping get the Fall Line Trail up and running. The Fall Line Trail, as you might know, is a bike ped route that would go from Petersburg in the south to Ashland in the north, and there is a lot of activity lately on that topic, and I'll certainly not steal Martha's fun thunder or anybody on CBTA. We were pleased to get a $2 million commitment from the congressionally designated spending programs that were out there through Senator Kane's office, and that $2 million would help to build this southern leg. And it's an exciting project, this Fall Line Trail, because it has the opportunity to not only connect Virginia State University to the city of Petersburg by bike, but also to be a postcard image for Virginia State in the region. So that's an exciting thing that's happening. There's actually two more potential footbridges coming over the Appomattox too into Chesterfield County or near it, which is exciting as well. Chesterfield County is working with the city of Petersburg and Dinwiddie County, Friends of the Lower Appomattox River, which is a small nonprofit that's housed at my building in Petersburg, and us as a supporting role to help get some improvements in the Ferndale Park area with a bridge across to the Radcliffe Conservation Area. So we're excited to contribute to the future of Chesterfield County in that space as well. And then there's another small bridge which is conceptual that might be closer to I-95. In addition, we have a long-range transportation plan underway for our region. It will be performance-based for the first time, and our next task after that will be a multimodal plan, which will help to pull together this idea of a regional bike ped network that's complemented strongly by these bridges that we're helping to get underway here. So I'll turn it back to Martha to give a transportation update on her space.
Thank you, Alec. So as you probably are aware, we're actually in the final day of the outreach process for our regional bike ped plan. So that covers the PlanRVA region, Chesterfield, of course, Henrico, Richmond, New Kent, Powhatan, Charles City, Hanover, and Goochland. And we're really grateful for the support. I know Barb Smith and Janet Llewellyn have been really major contributors to that plan and really being able to take the county's plans for bicycle and pedestrian facilities and fold that into the regional set of priorities. So wanted to say thanks to them for the work on that. Today is the last day for the public to give comment on that. So if anybody's interested in that, they can still go to www.bikepedrva.org and submit comments. So also, I'll just note, as Alec mentioned, obviously in our neck of the woods, the Central Virginia Transportation Authority has been an exciting new tool for our region to think about how to finance significant regional projects. And that group will meet on Friday. So Mr. Carroll, Barb Smith, and many others have been really spending a lot of time lately thinking about how to appropriately allocate these new regional revenues to support regional transportation projects. And this month and next will be a big month in that effort so that we can move priorities forward to close out the 6-year program for expenditure of those revenue dollars. I think if all goes according to plan, on Friday there will be a motion for establishment of a public hearing and a public participation process to review those priorities. So stay tuned on that. Let me see, Alec. I think we were going to move into housing now. So I'll just give you an update. As you're probably aware, Virginia Housing made a really exciting announcement last summer in 2021, giving planning district commissions the opportunity to be positioned as grant makers in the affordable housing space. And so all 21 planning district commissions were awarded funding around July of last year to be able to identify affordable housing priorities and projects in the region. And I'm really proud to say that the Richmond region, PlanRVA, because of a partnership that we initiated with Partnership for Housing Affordability, was able to be the first in the state to make announcements of projects to be funded. So we did that big announcement in December, and then those projects were announced again in January at PHA's annual framework update. And as of today, I can say that all of the projects that were awarded are moving forward, and we have a spring round for applications that are due April 1st. So just really excited about that. We'll continue to keep you posted as we have news of groundbreakings or other types of dedication ceremonies for projects that are here in the county. But we're really pleased about that effort, and I know because about $4 million will be invested across our region. I know Alec's also excited to give you an update on that.
Thanks. Yeah, we're a little bit behind the progress that PlanRVA has, but we're moving forward quickly. We expect to have a request for proposals out for affordable housing projects in next month. And as you might know, Chesterfield County is by far and away our biggest locality, and so Chesterfield County will have probably a sizable investment in affordable housing in its space. We've already made contact with a couple of highly professional affordable housing developers, and we fully expect them to submit strong applications. And so we expect to see several $100,000 at least directed to Chesterfield County for affordable housing just in the next couple of years. So we're pleased with that progress. And following that, as you might know, some of our smaller localities that don't have quite that institutional capacity, and so we're looking, hopefully can find some funding to do a regional housing study to help identify more regional needs and think about a regional strategy for the Tri-Cities area and southward. Next couple topics we'll talk about are along the lines of emergency management, environment, and resiliency. I'll start with the hazard mitigation plan. There is a Richmond Crater hazard mitigation plan. Martha and my staff work very closely together to get that done. The PlanRVA is the lead on it, and we're providing support in an in-kind manner to help to offset the cost of the grant, and actively involved in the public meetings and in the conversations with the consultants from Salters Creek Consulting who are leading that effort. That is nearing completion now. We had a very good meeting well attended by localities just last week, and are getting close to submittal of a plan to FEMA, which is required for adoption. But more importantly, we need to make contact with all the localities in our space, because this is a federal requirement in order to maintain eligibility for disaster preparedness funding. And so it's a useful document, and it includes the topic of resilience for the first time. And the reason why the idea of resilience is important is if you think back to an ice storm that hit Virginia last winter, which is 2021 now, there was an ice storm that impaired the 911 system in Dinwiddie County, and it also impaired the potable water distribution system in Hopewell. So thinking about the resilience of our infrastructure systems and our public service systems is really important. And this plan helps to open up avenues to funding to support more robust systems in that space. So when I talk about every locality, we're talking about the 9 members of PlanRVA plus 11 more members in Crater, which is an overlap of 2. And then we have 7 towns in our space, all below 2,000, that we'll be reaching out to as well. So it's quite an effort, but we're pleased to be able to provide these services to Chesterfield County.
I don't think we talk about this enough, but this region is really unique, and when I say region this time, I mean PlanRVA's and Crater region. I think we're one among maybe the only in the country that has a voluntary alliance of emergency management professionals. So just wanted to share with you that this week is Emergency Management Professionals Week, and wanted to recognize Jess Robeson, who chairs our Regional Emergency Management Alliance. She is, I don't think, in town right now because she's, I think today, busy getting an award from the Virginia Emergency Managers Alliance for a project that she really kind of spearheaded in promoting public outreach and awareness around preparedness, and it's the campaign that we call Plan Safe. So just wanted to share that with you. I hope it doesn't get ahead of your social media people, but we are just really grateful for her leadership, and she's been involved in the Alliance, I think, since she joined Chesterfield County's team, and it's just been really great to work with her. Alec noted, from a resiliency perspective, we're launching a campaign later this summer around flood awareness, so it feels like today is a good day to talk about that. I think that this region has seen over the last couple of seasons the impacts of rainwater and the challenges and perils that we have in our region around flooding. And so this is a way to get more information in the hands of citizens about how they can think about mitigation strategies for their own personal property. The idea is to be able to mitigate loss of property and certainly of life in instances where that occurs. So, the river is such a strong asset in our region, but it's also sometimes a dangerous place. And so we want to make sure that the public are aware of the challenges of crossing low water bridges, when you see water, turn around, those kinds of things. And so we'll be pushing all of that information out to our localities to be able to share at the appropriate times. I did just want to take a moment to talk a little bit about data. Kind of dipping back into the housing area a little bit, wanted to recognize Dan Cohen for his work to support an effort that we've been working on for the last year or so with Richmond Memorial Health Foundation. I think about this like a data project, but it's really geared about understanding the changes, particularly over the last 3 or 4 years in the housing market. As you can imagine, not just the pandemic, but the rising demand that we have for folks who want to come to this region because it's such a great place to live and work and play, poses some challenges from an affordability perspective. And so this market value analysis that we've worked with RMHF to put together is the second iteration. The first was in 2017, and the second will be released in the next couple of months. We're finishing up the data compilation now. And just Dan has been really instrumental in thinking about how we can take this regional data framework for the city of Richmond, Henrico, and Chesterfield County and synthesize it in a way that works at the local and neighborhood level. So I just wanted to say thanks for that. I think finally we're kind of in our wrap-up mode. So just wanted to share PlanRVA will be relocating our offices. So We're excited about that and wanted to say thanks, Mr. Holland, to you for chairing our Finance and Facilities Committee, and Mr. Winslow for chairing the board during maybe one of the more significant decisions that our board has made, certainly since we've been in our current space, and appreciative of your leadership on that. And I also just wanted to say that I know I called out a couple of different staff members in our updates, but as I was thinking through, I kept kind of scribbling down notes. We work with a lot of members of your staff, so I just wanted to say thanks also to Debbie Basie, Matt Harris, Jeff Minks, Susan Pollard, Kevin Bruni, Mary Martin Selby, Dr. Casey, of course, Sarah Hall, and many, many others. But those are the people that I think I've interacted with in the last probably 5 to 7 days. So I just wanted to say
Dr. Casey,
thanks.
we may need to send them an invoice. I'm not sure. Is this
Please don't. I don't think we could afford the support.
Budget line item for that.
I just wanted to say, all of those folks and many more that stand behind them are really come every day with the spirit of cooperation. And I know that, they have jobs here at the county, but they really do show up for us, but also their colleagues around the region. So thanks.
Last thing I would say is that Martha and I work pretty closely together, as you might can tell by now. It's a big, complex region when you think about the Tri-Cities and Richmond region together, and we're pleased to do that. That's what we do for a living, is to try to coordinate and bring folks together for dialogue and discussion. And so we're pleased to do that in our separate regions, and when appropriate, to bring folks together across a larger area too. And it's been an honor and a privilege to work with Martha, so I want to say that for a moment too. As you might have heard already, that I'm going to be taking a position in Lynchburg, a larger PDC there, and so we will keep you apprised of our progress in identifying an interim solution. As soon as we have it, I'll be meeting with the chair, Michelle Johnson, soon. So it's been my pleasure to work with each and every one of you too, since I've gotten to know several of you and many of the staff members at Chesterfield County too. And it's I've been always impressed with the professionalism and especially you have a large and very streamlined and very efficient organization too. So it's been my pleasure to work with everyone here.
board members? Well, on behalf of the board, I want to say thank you to you both for all your work, because, these organizations bring everyone together. It's the only organization I'm aware of where we all get into a room from all of these different localities and we talk about what the region could and should look like on a regular basis. And I think it's valuable to us for that reason. So flooding, emergency management, housing, transportation, you name it. The needs are endless, and the need for cooperation is also there as well. So really, really, really appreciate your work, and I'm sorry to see that you're going, Mr. Brebner, and I wish you the very best out in Lynchburg. Dr. Casey.
If I could just help set context, I was looking, there are two districts together represent about 4,600 square miles. It's larger than 2 states, probably the size of Connecticut. And I know Mr. Carroll drives through Connecticut, and it's a long drive to get to Rhode Island. And Chesterfield is really the center point of the 2 districts. So again, quite a challenge for them, quite a challenge for us to be managing and mindful of that large of a territory. So thank you, and we wish you the best.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.